Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Come to you live from our comfy couch here on the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for April 4th, 2022, which host Spacebreaker 2448. Time to wrap it up. Salon.
Hello.
We got 2 episodes that I thought were later in the show. Which like, we don't have that many episodes left, but still.
I mean, fair.
Because, yeah, have you ever wanted a couple episodes that makes you go, hey, here's this cool thing our writer gets, and you just go, no, please. No. Oh, no. This is a bad thing, isn't it? Yes, it's a bad thing. Oh. I found out a dumb thing about Dawn Brothers' powers.
Okay.
So, you know how we got 2 CGI characters, right?
Yeah.
Well, to help ease the budget, they're essentially allowed to do, along with the rest of the team, the thing the Gokaijers can do, where they turn into the past Sentai characters, just like Decade can. Here's the catch. The Gokaijers can turn into whoever they want, regardless of what color they are. So that would be like if Decade could turn into like Cross or Snipe or Poppy for whatever fucking reason. The Dawn Brothers, on the other hand, can only turn into another Ranger of the same color. So if a Sentai team does not have a color that they are wearing, they can't turn into that Ranger. It is a less good and dumber version of Gokaiger's shtick. Literally. All so they can save on the budget for 2 CGI characters that they put in the show to start with. And if you didn't want the CGI characters and you couldn't do the budget for them the whole season, the fuck did you do them to start with? Why? I'm confused. If you couldn't do them, why are you trying to cover up the fact that you can't do them? To the point that you have actual costumes for stage shows of these characters that you can use. I don't get it. I'm kind of glad I'm not watching Dawn Brothers. I've just seen things out of I want to say out of context, but probably not. And I'm like, I would be very upset at this show right now. I'm very glad I am not taking the Toshiki and Raid ride this year. On the better end, since I finished the last volume of Pokemon Adventures Diamond Pearl Platinum, the Pokemon manga, I might have stumbled across people talking about Pokemon Adventures again, and that made me want to pick up another volume that I haven't gotten. So I'm getting the Gold, Silver, Crystal volumes in the next few weeks or so I can reread them. Pokemon Adventures is really good, folks. I don't know how to cover it on this show or in any form or fashion, but it's very good. Have you ever wanted Pokemon but more plot and more character than the games or the anime? This is for you. Anywho, Kuuga 33 through 36 this week, folks. Any thoughts going into this?
Nah.
All right. I don't know how to divide this up, so we might just roll with it as we go. because episode 33, Cooperation, picks up where we left off last week, because it's the back end of a two-parter.
That'll be a recurring thing.
Unfortunately. So, Godai's getting attacked by Biker Man, who is currently on the Tri-Chaser. But when he tries to attack Godai with it, the Tri-Chaser just kind of like just craps out and finally just stops. So Biker Man's like, oh, I'm gonna take my bike and leave then. Bye. You get killed last. Probably not a smart decision. Sugita catches up with Godai and they both talk to Ichigo, give him an update on the situation. The Tri-Chaser has been recovered and it's going to the Institute for attempted repairs, but spoilers, the Tri-Chaser is dead for the rest of the season. Well, that Tri-Chaser. The Tri-Chaser will still be around, but only as the police version we see later in the show, or later in this episode. Because that's the same bike, just with some police things on it to make you think it's not the same bike. Because I'm pretty sure it's the exact same bike. But Godai is going to fall back on using Gorum as a plan B because without the Bee Chaser, we're running out of options. So Gorum, help! You've helped so far. Every other time we've needed you, maybe you'll help this time. But we follow up with Ichigo. His boss is talking to some higher ups about the whole situation. We peek into that every so often in this episode. And then we follow up with Biker Man. He's doing his whole spree thing. Then we follow up with Nikita. She offers up the key, which is the whole like throttle handle of the bike, because is that an actual thing? Because that's a thing in the show.
I have no idea.
I don't either, but it feels impractical, kind of, but like the best key in the world, because how the fuck are you going to drive a motorcycle without it?
I mean, yeah.
Because not only is that the handlebar, it is also the throttle. It as well that you have dislodged from the bike. It's like if you took the gas pedal away, if the gas pedal was not only the key, it was the key to your car. You have taken away the gas pedal. They're not getting out anywhere without that because they can't make it go.
Well, they're not getting anywhere fast.
But just because she gives it to him doesn't mean they can take the bike, because the access code for the bike is Godai's birthday. And that's when Ichigo shows up, and she's like, he knows, talk to him. And then Ichigo does a whole, I need you to help, because, look, what happened was bad, but if we don't help him now, it's only going to get worse. We have to help. It's the only way we move forward. Which is a big thing about this series, is how much support and help Godai gets for most of the fights. Because honestly, without the entire supporting cast of this show, Godai would be dead.
Yeah.
Like, literally dead. He would have been dead long before he actually died in this show. And there will be a whole lot more dead bodies. But that's when we catch up with Sugita and Godai. Godai tries to figure out how to use Gorum. He pretty much lands on, I'm going to have Gorum fly me towards the guy. While I'm in Pegasus, well, Rising Pegasus specifically, I'm going to shoot him, but I can't do it for too long because then I'll time out. And then I'm stuck in without a transformation for 2 hours, which we are losing time. And especially since I'm last, that's not good, so... that's when they arrive at a blockade where they try to stop the guy, or stop Biker Man. But one of the cops that was being used as bait gets killed at the blockade. So once Sugita arrived there, Godai just takes over the guy's bike, and Sugita gives him his revolver, and he drives off. Does the whole plan with Gorum. Can't hit him. He's too fast. But I think, wouldn't it have been a better plan for Gorum to try to ram him?
Possibly.
That might have been a better plan, but I guess he probably could have dodged that. But yeah, well, we're down to actually needing the Beat Chaser, which thankfully Ichigo manages to convince the agents, cops, whoever the fuck these guys in suits are, to hand over the Beat Chaser to him. So he takes it, he drives off to go meet Sugita and Godai. We do see another blockade actually drive the Grongi into position. So that's when Sugita, or while that's getting set up and stuff, we do see Sugita kind of apologize to Godai for shooting at him once from like the beginning of the show, and Godai just takes it in stride because he's like, it's fine. It's not like you knew who I was anyway. Which, fair. Also, it's not like the bullets would have done anything, because I'm pretty sure, didn't they say in the episode he did get shot and it did nothing?
I don't remember.
I feel like he actually got shot in that episode and it did nothing, so it's fine. But Ichigo meets up with Godai, and Sugita hands over the Beat Chaser, and we see it change colors, and it's black and red instead of silver and red. I'll be honest, I prefer the Beat Chaser over the Tri Chaser. You have any hard thoughts on the Beat Chaser?
Not really, no.
Fair. But Godai uses it. We get a bike fight between him and Biker Man once more. Godai ends up outrunning him and having to pop the parachute on this bike because this bike comes with a parachute to slow down when it goes at high speed. But lets him get far enough ahead that he goes rising mighty, kicks the Grongi off the bike when he charges at him. He goes boom. And then we see later Ichigo show up to his boss for discipline because, he disobeyed orders. But as it turns out, the boss pretty much got the orders through before Ichigo did anything, probably. So,
Maybe.
It's fine. You're not disciplined today. Don't worry about it. So I guess any thoughts on this with as the two-parter, since the there's a lot to talk about in the next two-parter, unfortunately, so.
No.
Alright. So we'll hit the important pair of episodes in this batch. I'm just gonna say this up front. This is the two episodes that I thought was later in the show and are very important. So we kick off with episode 34, Tremble. We are starting at the hospital. There is a kid there with his family, and he is panicking because he believes he's going to die. Because somebody told him he was going to die at this time, this day. And, he's panicking, but he seems fine, and then his nose starts to bleed. And as we see Ichigo walk down the hallway, presumably the kid dies. And that's when we catch up with Godai real quick as he's polishing up the Beat Chaser and has a conversation with Donna about, you got some expensive motorcycle for your job. Yeah. Two of them even. But it's a quick little breather because then when he goes inside the pole, Ichigo calls him, and that's when we get a layout for the case. So a class of about 91 boys is being targeted by a Grongi. And as of right now, 78 of them are dead. Like, dead. And they have no idea how. I believe 20 of them have died about every day for like 3 days straight. And they have no idea where the Gronky is, or even who this Gronky is. We are starting here. And I will remind you, Godai has not been able to do anything this whole time. He's more or less seems like he's been on standby because they have not been able to pin down this Gronky in any capacity. Also, as this is happening, there's a call from Ichijo's precinct in or the precinct in Nagano that there's been murders in Nagano. So Sawatari and a colleague of hers are getting called in to there to investigate because there's apparently some of the text left at the crime scene. Remember that. It's going to be important later. Also, the Rose Gronky has also been spotted in Nagano for reasons we don't know. Also, as like a subplot for this in the next episode, Minori is dealing with a couple of kids that aren't getting along because they're like 5 years old. They're kids. The fuck do you expect? It's not the most important thing in here, but it is a reminder of something we'll talk about later. But that's when we catch up with Tsubaki. He's doing an autopsy on one of the kids. We find out that there is a very small little like hook or like needle, not sure how else to describe it, that has been inserted into their brains. And it seems like it started smaller and then got bigger over time. It did not show up on an MRI scan. It did not show up on a CT scan. It showed up on nothing that they ran. And considering it is in the brain, as Ichijo asks, it's probably impossible to remove. Because brain surgery is fucking complicated, and not being able to know where the fuck this thing is in someone's brain probably makes surgery impossible. And this was put into them before they died. Presumably several days before. Again, just make a note of that. This is when Godai hits the school just to check in with the kids and Minori and talks to one of the kids trying to help him. This is when we cut to the funeral for one of the boys in class. One of the other boys in that class sees the Gronky at the funeral and freaks out, but no one else sees him. So, yeah, the Gronky is keeping an eye on all of them. Also, the Gronky has been telling kids they will die in 4 days, which is also when he put those needles in their heads, meaning he murdered them and made them wait out their deaths for like 4 days as he taunted them. This Gronky is doing some very fucked up things. Some very, 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 very fucked up things.
Yeah.
I cannot understate this because of what we do later in this episode. Because as Ichijo and Godai are talking about this, the dispatch lady, I forget her name offhand, calls in to report that one of the kids committed suicide. Which, in some fucked up, like, sense of luck, means he doesn't count for the Gronky's kill count. Meaning he has to find a replacement. And it just so happens that there is a kid who just transferred into that class, and he is hiding out with his parents at their vacation home. So now it's a mad scramble to get to this kid before the Gronky does. Which we see the Gronky stalking this family, just teleporting around the log cabin. No selling this guy's shotgun directly to his face. Which I'm pretty sure that shotgun missed anyway, so, but...
Well, and regardless, he doesn't have the special shots, so...
Yeah. But he just knocks around the dad, chases the kid and his mom. His mom just passes out in his arms while cornered, and this Gronky's like, oh yeah, no, I like fucking with my victims. I like more or less mentally torturing them before they die. It's more fun that way. Which, I'm going to point out, None of the Grongi have done this till now. None of them have played psychological warfare with their victims. They've all just went, person, dead, move on. They are numbers. This one has made it personal. To a degree. Again, remember that. Godai manages to show up in time, does fight the Gronki. Doesn't go well, because again, the Gronki can teleport, so he just teleports out of the way, just throws a bunch of needles at Godai, and it's just like, sit down, I'm busy, bye. And just fucks off. Doesn't even really do anything to the Godai besides just disable him and move on. Because he's got better shit to do and he doesn't care. And that's the entire first half of this episode. Which sounds shorter, I know, but there's a lot of, I'm trying to think of the word for it, atmosphere in this, like a horror atmosphere.
Yeah.
But this takes us to episode 35, Emotion. So the police decide to escort this family to an abandoned hospital. I'm gonna say hospital. I don't know. It's some abandoned building, like big building somewhere. They try to protect them, and like, when we have to confront this Grongi when it comes after this kid, we are at least far enough away that Godai can easily get to somewhere before so he can kick this Grongi and it can explode without collateral damage. Meanwhile, Sartori has made it to Nagano and meets with a colleague, and when she's inbound to the site, we find out that these murders are not the murders of humans. They are the murder of Grongi, specifically 34, that presumably have been killed by Zeba. Like, Yola F0, mind you, but for the purposes of what we do, it's Zeba. 34 of them have been killed by Zeba. And as we will see, it was a slaughter. Midori continues to talk to the kid, and that's the thing for like the whole episode. But when we get back to the cops, they decide to sedate the kid because we would like to like not have you panic. So we're just gonna give you some pills to help you relax and get you through this. Because they start to formulate a strategy, and then we check back in with Sartori. She's at the scene, and like I said, it is a slaughter because there is blood everywhere at this crime scene. Just pulled up everywhere. We don't see any bodies because I think the bodies might have been moved at this point, but there's still blood everywhere, and there is a very large stench of death because all three of them have to like cover up their mouths in those because of how strong the stench is. But back over to Godai. He's at the abandoned building, and he sees the news report about this current case and sees, a bunch of faces of the boys, and he is visibly pissed. Like, he clenches his fist. He is upset. He is angry. Very, very angry. And he tries to talk things out with Ichijo about, like, trying to understand these Grongi and whatnot, and it just doesn't seem to work. So, yeah, Godai is pissed. For reasons we'll talk about once we're done. But back over to the crime scene, Sartori and the others, they find a mark made with the Grongi's blood. It's the mark of Kuuga, but instead of the 2 horns we normally see it has 4. Which, that's not good. That's not good at all. So we move back to the police at this point. The Grongi moves about this building, with his teleporting ability, confuses the police, almost gets the kid, only for Godai to make it at the last second and tackle this Grongi out the window. And what follows is probably the most brutal beatdown Godai has ever laid on a Grongi. He literally tackles him out the window, to the ground and starts swinging and does not stop until he draws blood. And goes 5 punches further, I think. This is the first time we have ever seen Godai go far enough to draw blood from a Grongi. This is the first time, I think, in show we have seen blood drawn from a Grongi in fight. And this is by Godai's hands. And it gets worse. He then calls in Gorum, hops on the Beat Chaser, shoves the Grongi out the door, down the road, down towards this lake, where he gets dropped off. Godai goes Rising Titan, and then proceeds to just fillet this guy with the sword. Bear this in mind. One hit from that sword should deliver the glyph to blow up this Grongi. He delivers like 7. And then once this Grongi falls over, he jams the sword directly into this Grongi's abdomen and pushes it further and just shoves it in until this Grongi explodes. If you do not understand how pissed Godai is, this is how much this has pissed him off and made him very angry. But during the explosion, Godai gets a vision. It's of another form of Kuuga. It is a black form with gold accents, mimicking the same things he just did. This is ultimate form. And these visions are from Gorum, and they are a warning of what Godai could become. Because this is what Godai can become if he goes out of control. Because bear in mind, they've said this over and over and over and over and over and over and over again in order to drill it into your head. Godai is at risk of becoming a literal weapon. The only thing that keeps him in check is, his gentle nature, his better self. This is what happens when he throws that away and acts out in rage and anger and frustration. By the way, also the kids made up into things. Yay! But yeah, that is how the episode ends. And it's not really like, yay, celebratory. It's like, oh fuck. Maybe Godai should not get his final form. Because that's his final form right there. Coincidentally, right at an episode number where we would normally get it, except he's not getting it until the final episode. Well, second to last episode. So, yeah. Anywho, how'd you feel about these two? Tommy? Hello?
My bad, had mic muted. This one was kind of on the screwed up side all the way around, in my opinion.
Yeah. You've got a Grongi, like the worst Grongi we've had all season, and honestly, the worst Grongi till the last one.
Yeah.
Because oh boy, is Zeba gonna take this and multiply it by 1,000. You've got Godai at his darkest, and a reminder of this is what's going to happen when he goes dark, and it's not going to end well. It's not going to end well for anyone. And then you have, oh yeah, here's this random warehouse where 34 Grongi were slaughtered, and all of their blood is all over the place. And here is Kuuga's mark, fucking painted on the wall in blood. Like I said, I thought these episodes were later. I didn't realize they were right here. So it was a little surprising for me when I started 34 and went, oh fuck. Because I remember how those episodes started. And it was like, oh, here we go. But yeah, like it. These are for me some of the best episodes of Kuuga because it really shows like I'm trying to think of the words for it. It shows the writing at its best because all of this is built on how this show has been going. You do not get the feels of this episode without everything we've had so far. And this is
true.
This is I want to say the payoff, but it's not even the payoff yet. It's just the smallest tease of a payoff because there's more to come. We're not even done yet. But yeah, like this is, I almost want to say the turning point of the show. Because from here on out, it's only going to get rougher. It's only going to get rougher for Godai. It's only going to get rougher for our cast. And what our Gronky do is only going to get worse. Because we're down to the stupid powerful ones now. We are down to the ones that can probably just fuck up this whole city without a care in the world. But yeah, any other thoughts on this pair?
No.
All right. We will end off then with episode 36, Complication. So Saratari is going over the symbol with Ichijo. Ichijo hypothesizes that it's a message to, I guess, the other Grongi of kill Kuuga. But Saratari thinks it's something else. While it is similar to, the mark of Kuuga, it has 4 horns instead of 2. So she surmises that the Linto might have derived this symbol from the Gronki, and that this is actually the mark of Zeba, which is why it's slightly different. Spoiler, Saratari's right. Just to put it to bed, yeah, Saratari's right. Because this whole thing, I don't think it gets stated in show, but this is all Zeba's entry into the game. Him slaughtering 34 Gronki, that's his entry into the game. That's him stating, here I am. This is what awaits you in the finals. Let's see what you got. But yeah, this is when we check in with Godai. He's out in town when Suida calls in, just checks in with him. We see that he's heading off to Hita's to help out our lab. Since Saratari and Ichijo are busy with the Zeba stuff. Then we see them talk about it, try to figure it out. That's when they land on that the Linto were a more peaceful race. They weren't fighters, which is why the Kuuga symbol is derived from the Grongi, because they didn't have something for a warrior because they never needed warriors. It's a weird leap in logic, I feel like, but we gotta get the plot going somehow. But we check in with Godai. He arrives at Nikita's lab, and she wants to study his ability to transform things into other things, because the Grongi are able to do it, so they're gonna put Godai in the back room and just have him keep changing things over and over as they try to figure out how the fuck that works. Spoilers, it's probably Transformers technology of mass shifting. Probably. I don't know. I don't think they ever fucking bother to explain it.
Probably not.
Meanwhile, we see a Gronki is starting her game. And her game is to kill the taxi driver in a specific order of colors on her nails. And she does this by fucking melting them with an acid into goop. Like, just, they are a pile of goop.
Well, she misread the instructions on Crazy Taxi, so she had to come up with her own.
Yeah. But yeah, that is how strong of an acid we're talking about. That it just melts this person, and it melts through the car, down into the pavement, or onto the pavement, and I think into the pavement to some degree, probably. It is an acid to not be fucked around with.
Okay, now we get to see the first one.
Mm-hmm.
How does the second person that gets killed? How is he only 80% destroyed? Because I swear they say that in there, and it's like no, I'm pretty sure he's all the way gone.
Maybe his arm didn't fall into the pool of acid. Maybe, I don't know. Honestly, it's not that much more comforting.
No.
It's like, I either become a pool acid or a pool acid plus some extra body parts. Some body parts that didn't get just disintegrated. Both are very horrifying things to have probably come across. But meanwhile, to all this, our Batman friend, he's got a piece of a thing. It's an important thing. He's been hiding it for like the last few episodes or so. But he infuses it into his article, and now he powers up, and he doesn't get hurt by the sun. He's got a new powerful form, and he goes and fights the Grongi of this episode because you made fun of me, so punch. But before that, Saratari and Ichijo, they go to a local warehouse where the artifacts are from the tomb, and the coffin has also been repaired. And Saratari stays there because Ichijo has to leave to go handle the Grongi case. She's there to investigate it and figure out the hell's the deal with this symbol. Maybe there's something hidden in all of this. So we see the two Grongi fight. Our new Grongi, she has a claw weapon that I think has her blood. I think it's her blood. I don't know what else it is that she's like infusing her claw with that lets it have stupid strong poison or stupid strong acid abilities. Because she pretty much burns anything that touches those claws. But the two of them fight. The cops get a call about it. They come in. The fight's kind of happening in this like first floor of this like bar. So the cops come in on the second floor balcony. Grongi don't see them. They look, and Sugita's here in this, and Sugita spots all of the acid, all the acid burns in the scenery, and is just like, we're not getting involved in this because this is not going to end well for any of us. Back up, secure the scene, call in Godai. He can probably survive this. We're not even going to remotely attempt to shoot one of them, let alone the one with the fucking acid. So they back up, secure the scene, call in Godai, and let him know. He comes in, he joins the fight, and that is the end of the episode. We don't get much farther in the episode. So, not much to talk about, is there?
Not particularly.
Yeah. But we'll get to catch up on, we'll get to see the end of this next week, because, yeah, this gets to be a fun, tricky one, because, yeah, guess what happens when she explodes?
I'm gonna assume acid goes everywhere.
Uh-huh. Oh, we can't explode her outside, otherwise acid burn everything for way larger than that explosion, because it will carry the acid further. We have to find an enclosed area that can withstand this explosion. Fuck. But yeah, this is a really good batch of episodes. For me, at least, it's one of those reminders of like, this is why I really like Kuuga. It's a really good show. I really need to read the novel before we're done so I can talk about the novel. I promise I will read the novel before our final episode of TGSR for covering Kuuga, and I will talk about what happens in the novel. I will take a week and I'll read the whole thing. Yeah, any other thoughts on the 4 episodes?
No.
All right, then. Wednesday. It's our last week of Craftopia before we get back to the Metroid Primes with the 3rd Prime. I would make a math joke with Primes, but I can't think of one involving 3 and Prime.
Besides the fact that... I don't know. I lost it.
I was like, that's gonna happen to me. I will have no idea what to make, so. Thursday, we're taking a look at the Kabuto PS2 game and the Dragonite, technically Wii game, because it came out on the Wii. Saturday, we're talking TGS. We'll be talking shop. We might talk about Epic's press conference thing involving their engine stuff. I think that was today.
You know what I just realized?
What?
And it is a horrible joke. I know why we don't have Prime 4.
Why?
4's not a prime number.
Fair.
I feel like that is a joke that someone has made already, though.
You know, it would help if I put the correct year.
It could.
Alright, I'm not seeing it, but I swear they have a thing this month, because I've seen commercials from tweets about it. I don't remember. It's something about their Unreal Engine, so we might be talking about that if there's anything to talk about, and whatever else. And then Sunday, we continue from here with Kuuga. We will reach a point where it's less two-parters and more just the continuous set of episodes. But I do not remember when that is, so it might not be too much.
Prepared for another week of this.
Yeah, week of a non-standard breakdown of episodes, essentially. But anywho, folks, that'll do it for us. If you like what you're seeing, drop a follow. I really appreciate it. Chip away that Philly go at TG Center on Twitter gets you updates on my life. Especially when Discord and chat. It's this or link. Drop by, say hi. See you Wednesday, folks.